I mean, we're really in kind of a tech war now. And if it depends, I think the US looks at it as China declared war with indigenous innovation, with cyber hacking, with Made in China 2025. And so what's going on now is a very delayed response. You know, I mean, if you go back to the latter 2000s, like 2010 to 2020, companies were starting to get really upset on all the cyber hacking and other things that were going on. And they would go to the US government and they would say, I've had it, I'm fed up, we've had all this stuff stolen or we're getting blocked in these markets. And the government would say, what should we do about it? And the company say, oh, don't do anything. Don't do anything. You'll mess up my China market share. Because they were scared of China and they wanted and needed that market share. But then it just went too far. Those companies finally, in the last, I don't know, 7, 8 years, and AmChams would go to the government and say, you got to do something. You got to do something. It's gone too far. China, overdid things. And then you get Trump, who was, he didn't do any of the niceties, and he was pretty Luan Bao in the way he did stuff, but he also was, he's one who turned the conversation around in a very harsh way. And so where are we today? The Biden administration has taken Trump's policies, which were not very well organized or very well put together. They were more of they were more, I don't know, just they would happen. They would happen without a lot of thought put into them or a lot of rigor put into them. Biden has taken those policies and he's given them he's made them orderly and he's made them robust. And the Congress, working with Biden, has come up with these the chip, the chip blockage, the chip manufacturing tool blockage. This is really, really damaging for China. Really, really damaging because China is pretty good in some chip packaging and some lower level chips. But look at what happened with Huawei when the US went after Huawei. They basically destroyed a good part of their global business. So it's a real sad state of affairs, but I've been watching this for 30 years. As you know, I lived in China 30 years. And this is not the West trying to attack China. This is the West reacting to what was coming out of China. I think a lot of Western companies and governments felt betrayed, that they had really gone out of their way to help China. They'd opened their universities, they'd opened scholarships, they'd opened markets. They went in and helped China build a legal system. And I think it's fallacy that they believed China was going to become a democracy, but they did believe China would become more integrated in the world with its own system. And that does not seem to be happening. And they feel like they went out of their way to help China in many ways, and they got nothing for it. Now they got self-reliance, they got cyber hacking, and China has its own views. China has its views as that the West held back on technology. They would put their secondary technology in China. They wouldn't give China the latest technology, and that was discrimination against Chinese people, against China, trying to keep China poor. Everybody's got their rhetoric on victimization. Both sides have this whole story on how they've been victimized, and that's where we sit today. And it's I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon.